Hey everyone, happy Thursday and welcome to Virtual Vegfest Live. This is Helene and thank you to Orgain for sponsoring our lives this month. And I guess we're coming up on like the last week for Orgain to be sponsoring. Who will be sponsoring next month? I will figure that out when the month ends, which is pretty awesome. We have so many to choose from because you can win a prize pack, right? You can go to virtualvegfest.com and enter the little and like click the little contest tab, and you can enter our wish pond and do things like subscribe to our social media or to our Virtual Vegfest YouTube. The YouTube gives you 25 entries, so hint that's what we really want you to do. And you can win a prize pack from Orgain, Follow Your Heart, Crafters Organics, Hodo Foods, Cinnaholic, and Shroom Meats, which is pretty awesome. We love them and appreciate their support for donating those prize packs to Virtual Veg Fest monthly. That's 6 prizes that you can win on a monthly basis just by, like I said, entering our contest. Who doesn't like winning? And if you look at our Twitter, actually, one of the prize winners from Follow Your Heart posted probably the coolest winning pictures. I don't think anyone could beat it. And I'm just going to throw that out there. If you think you can beat those pictures, go to the Virtual Veg Fest Twitter and you will see I shared it. It's amazing. It is the coolest thing in the whole world. It's the animal. I'm going to give you little hints. The animal's name is Tofu. And now that I have you curious, you go subscribe to our Twitter, but do it through the Wish Pond. I don't think it's on there, actually. It's only Instagram. I'll add it next month. So if you want to wait to subscribe, or just subscribe now, it doesn't matter. You can still enter an abundance of different ways. All right, now that I've exhausted that, Kimberly's here. And you might know Kimberly because Kimberly is the person who does Fireside Chat with Kimberly. Had a little debate this month or like this week about whether it's Fireside Chats or Chat. Had actually look at it. It's Fireside Chat with Kimberly. She's laughing in the background. And she hosts Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And she does about a 20-30 minute Q&A and talk about subjects about veganism. The one that she did on Monday, highly recommend going back and watching it. It was about self-care. Probably one of the best ones she's done yet, with great advice on how to take care of yourself. In this vegan world, we tend to overexert ourselves and undertake care of ourselves. And it's really important in anything that you do that you take care of yourself. So anything else I need to tell you? If you have any questions or comments, remember to put them in a little box. And I'm going to go grab Kimberly. Hey, who are you?
Hi, I'm so
Yay.
happy to be here tonight.
Me
Yay!
too. This is like pretty awesome because we haven't done this live, but we've spoken many times.
Yeah.
So Kimberly, you do a lot of stuff, and the one piece that I didn't share with everyone in the intro was how do I know you? Which is a really cool story in itself. I'm going to do a shout out to Dave, who would probably never watch this, but maybe he might if he kind of gets on Facebook and stops working for a moment, and maybe I'll tell him to do it. So I'll ask him, is what I'll do. So Dave sends me a message and it says, hey, I'm going to be on this podcast. Did you bring the hummus? And would you like to meet this Kimberly person? Because, she created this podcast during COVID and I'm going to be on it. And she's vegan. She's in New Jersey. And I was like, let me go look this up. And I look at her picture and I see that she lives in like around Edison. And then I think back to Edison Vegan Fest in 2019. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the woman I spoke to when I popped into the speaker room, talked to like this really nice person, and just popped out and just left. And obviously, I didn't forget that I had this conversation. I didn't know who it was with, but it was with Kimberly, which is serendipitous in itself that somehow, in a weird way, through my former housemate, we become aligned and we talked. And I said, hey, do you want to do a show?
And I said, yes, of course.
Yeah, so Kimberly, tell us more about you and all the stuff that you do.
Sure. So, well, the reason I said yes, of course, without even thinking about it, is because I love speaking. I love public speaking, and I love being vegan. It's like the greatest thing in the whole world. So, when I can combine those two things, nothing makes me happier. I started my podcast, Did You Bring the Hummus? in September of 2020, and it was actually part of a Toastmasters project. I had never considered doing a podcast before, as much as I love speaking. And when I looked at the project, I thought, okay, I can do this. 60 minutes of content has to be available publicly for people to hear. What am I going to talk about? Well, obviously, I'm going to talk about the thing I love the most, which is being vegan. And Did You Bring the Hummus was born. My favorite thing about the title is that every time I tell someone the title of my podcast, they either break out into a big smile, they laugh, or they're just, that's the best name I've ever heard. And so I'm really proud of myself for that one.
That's how did you come up with it?
Have you ever seen the meme of the dinosaurs that are like getting ready to eat and the brontosaurus is like walking in, everyone else is sitting, like the T-Rex and everything are sitting at the table already. The brontosaurus is coming in and he's holding hummus and he says, "I brought the hummus." That's where it came from. Of course, the vegan dinosaur is the one showing up with the hummus. That's how I
Yes.
made that connection there.
That is awesome. That is super, super awesome. And one of the things that attracted me to having you come and say, like, would you want to do video? Because it's an audio podcast. Did you bring the hummus? Was that you're in Toastmasters, which is public
Mhm.
speaking. And I totally talk about Toastmasters too, because they should get a shout out because it's fantastic for people to learn to public speak and not be so afraid of it. You probably have to do it for your job, or maybe you want to do it, personally, just be able to get up in front of a group of people and not be like sweating bullets and thinking like
Yeah.
dying would feel better than being like a public speaker. Because, the only thing that is scarier to humans, public speaking is second, the first is death. So it's not so bad, I promise you. But and we're just talking to the air right now. Just because like anyone can watch it, it doesn't matter. But in person, it's energizing for me. Like
Me
like
too.
I get so pumped, and I never prepare for what I'm even going to say. So I just kind of like roll with it, and then I stop and I go, I
Hmm.
probably should have said, probably should have thanked our sponsors. Oops.
I always structure a speech. I'll write it out. I get my ideas, and then what I recently realized with the last speech I gave is that I've actually never given a speech that I wrote out. Something else comes out of me. I never say what I put down on paper. Same concepts, like I never, or I almost never miss a concept I intended to include, but it's never exactly how I had planned for it to come out. So
I think
it's
that's
good practice.
better. It's more
Yeah.
organic. I mean, if you have to
Hmm.
like do this for politics or work, and even then, people will see you and see something more genuine if you don't seem like you're coming across with a script. I like that you take notes. You take a lot of notes, like when we talk about the things that we have that we're going to have going on. I know you take a lot of notes and you prepare. And the one thing that was different for you with this was who is sponsoring, and how do you tell people about this contest, which I
Yeah.
never do the same thing every week. I just make it up every week. So you would think I would do the same thing, but I don't. That's my secret. I don't prepare. I prepare for who the guest is to make sure that I know who you are if I don't know you already. But
Yeah.
even that is very minimal because I want to learn from you more than I want to learn from a book or from your website. I just need little details, and the 15-20 minutes that we talked beforehand is really what I need to come on and be like, all right, so here's what I get a feel for who you are and your personality if I don't know you at all. That I
Hmm.
Some people are great and they just run with it, and then some need more coaching or coaxing to speak.
Yeah.
Speak. It's for
Not
you.
this
This is
girl.
this is for you. This is for everyone to get to know who and what you are. So, and of course, I'm like hogging up your time. So we got the Did You Bring the Hummus? We got the name. How often
Hmm.
do you do it?
So I had been doing it every other Monday from the start of the year through May. And then life got a little crazy. And so it's kind of been on hiatus, but it's coming back. It should be back in July, but there'll be a big announcement about that when it does come back. I'm very excited about it. I do really love doing it. And so from creating this podcast, I started to think, what else can I do with this? I mean, it's a great name. I've got to put it elsewhere, right? So I started thinking, okay, well, maybe as I get more listeners, we can do fun things like t-shirts or hats, that kind of stuff. So we're working on like a fun logo for that. But I also decided I have a coaching background. I'm a certified professional coach, and helping people go vegan is such a passion of mine. So I'm starting to combine. I've done some classes where people will come and we do it on Zoom, so it's easy to do from anywhere. And they bring their favorite animal-based recipes, and I tell them how to veganize it. And then they can come back like a week later, so they get a week to test it out. And they come back a week later and they let me know how it went. Did it work? Was it good? What didn't work? And then if it didn't work, we come up with another way to veganize it. And if it did work, they get to bring a new recipe that I help them veganize. And it's so much fun. I love doing it.
That is fantastic. So tell me about some of these recipes that you veganized.
So the first class, we veganized chicken parm, and I always share the chocolate chip cookie recipe that I pulled from a Hershey's cookbook I bought from Costco for like $3 back in like 2001. And it was my favorite recipe. And then when I went vegan, I was like, well, I still want to be able to make these cookies. So I veganized it. So I share that. And what else did we do? We veganized a and it's called icebox cake. That might be a regional thing, but it's graham crackers, chocolate pudding, and bananas. And it's my dad grew up eating it. It's like our favorite family dessert. So we veganized that. There were some other like bowl dishes and things like that, but it was just it was so much fun, and people had so many questions even beyond their own recipes. They learned from each other. Oh, we did tacos too. There were like 12 different ways we veganized tacos. Yeah.
Yeah, I already came into this hungry, so thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But it's really easy. Like right off the top of my head, I can veganize all those things as well. And it's
Yeah.
not like you have to go to a fancy market and spend
Mm-hmm.
gobs of money to be able to do these things. And the big regional thing is what products you have that you have at your stores that we have a local company called Delight Soy that makes it's right here, like literally right here 15 minutes from my house, that makes a vegan chicken product, a plant-based chicken product that's incredible that pretty much all the local restaurants use when they're going to make
That's
a vegan
awesome.
chicken parm. Yeah, we're very fortunate that
Yeah.
that's in our community. But I mean now, you can get a Gardein patty and just if you want to be real easy, just put that baby in the air fryer, then put some sauce and some cheese and back in the air fryer, and then you've got
Yep.
chicken parm. Put that over some linguine with some red sauce, and you've got like a somewhat gourmet meal.
Yeah. It's so simple now. It really is wonderful.
Yeah, that's really neat. I'm really glad to hear that people signed up for that and that it was so successful. How often are you
Yeah.
going to do it?
I want to do it at least once a quarter.
Okay.
So, every 3 months or so. And then if there's more interest in it, then I'll do it more often. But that seems to have worked out so far. The other thing I'm working on under Did You Bring the Hummus is also a community. So the Did You Bring the Hummus community. Because if you look out in the internet, right, there's so much information about how to go vegan, and there is a ton of free stuff. It's super overwhelming because you have to weed through all of the good stuff, all the things that work for you, and there's no one there kind of like guiding you and talking to you and figuring out what do you need in order to successfully go vegan. So my plan for the community is to be like a safe space. So it will be a paid community, but in Facebook, these groups you can either run into trolls. So they hate vegans. They've joined a free vegan group so that they could hate on us. Or you find those vegans that forget what it's like to be new and they're super judgmental and mean. And they make the newbies or people curious about going vegan feel badly and they leave and they don't go vegan. So completely like working against themselves there. So my plan is to create this safe space where we have live coaching calls and interactions. We do book clubs and just to create like a really comfy, cozy place, kind of like my plan for Fireside Chats, right? Where people just feel safe to ask questions and to mess up and come back and be like, what could I have done better? How can I do this? I really want to live this way. Help me. And then I can. That's like my
I,
favorite thing.
I love that. So going into your coaching background, is it from eCornell?
No, it's actually not food focused at all. It's from IPEC, which is the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. And their focus, they call it core energy coaching. So you can essentially coach anyone on anything because you're trying to shift their mindset. So it's not just like, here's nutrition and this is how you eat, this is what a vegan diet is. It's more about like, how do you feel about this? And how do we shift those feelings to get you to where you want to be? We assess people's values, we figure out what is most important, and how do you live in alignment with those values? Because that's really when we're living our best, most fulfilled life anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's one piece that I didn't know until this moment that you had the
Uh,
coaching background. No,
yeah.
that's fantastic. Could definitely like throw that out there when you're talking on Monday because
Okay.
it gives you more credibility to coach because pretty much what
Yeah,
Monday
that's true.
is Fireside Chat with Kimberly is you coaching people about all these different topics that central focus is veganism.
Hmm.
And now that
Yeah.
now yeah, we should that should have been out there like in the beginning.
We can add my little credentials next to my name in the next graphic you make.
Yeah, I can totally do that. I think about doing that too because I have a master's in education. So it's like, well, I could put my, I could put those letters. I spent enough money to get it. I might as well use it
Yeah,
somehow. So
right.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we definitely should do that. I think that's really cool because you're right. There are some dicks out there in the vegan world that
Hmm.
just you know what I equated to? I equate it to parents that have kids and the kids are growing up and the parents don't remember what it was like to be a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know how you forget what it was like to be a kid, but like the kids are being kids and
Right.
parents get angry or upset or yell or scream. And I have like an example I have is like when my nephew was dating this awesome girl and like his parents just didn't understand like
Mm.
young love. And I was like, how you two were like, how do you not remember what it was like to
Yeah.
initially be in love with somebody? That unrequited, like I would do anything for you, like I would go against my parents and pay for my own college for you, love.
Yeah.
That's stupid, it's dumb, or well, when you're 16, that's your world. And
Yeah, you do stupid things
you do
all the
stupid things.
time.
I mean, I was like, this girl loves your son to the point where she would make those choices. That's kind of admirable that,
Yeah.
she would take a harder path because her parents don't agree. That's pretty incredible. That choice was made. That choice was actually made. And
Oh,
I
wow.
just I was really upset that they didn't understand. But then you kind of look around and go, most parents don't understand what it's like to be a kid anymore. I don't have kids, but I have not forgotten what it's like to be a kid or what the
Me
struggles or the
neither.
choices.
Yeah.
And like is it something that you cross over? So parents, let us know. Do you cross over something when you pop out a baby and you start raising one that you forget? Because
Yeah,
I
maybe there's
I
a difference there.
yeah, I mean, I just kind of go the the struggles. I mean, I can totally look at like the struggle of being 17. I don't ever want to go back, but I haven't forgotten what it was like.
Yeah.
And no matter how good life is now, I remember high school. I remember elementary school.
Hmm.
I remember.
Yeah.
So,
Me too.
yeah. And I don't know. Maybe parents need to let us know. Is this like you became a parent thing and or maybe you do remember, but in my experience, the way kids are being raised, you don't remember what it's like to be that age because if you
Yeah.
did, you might go a little lighter or a little stronger. I mean, it's hard. I'm going to take that back. Parenting is the most difficult job in the whole planet. And as much as I'm making light of it, I really am not. I totally understand that it is not easy. And the frustrations and the stress are typically what come out with raising a child. And you're never perfect. So your kid's
Hmm.
kind of going to be messed up in some form or manner because we're all messed up. So,
Yeah.
and there's no book. There's no
Right.
how do I raise this? And every child's different, every personality. There's so many factors. Yeah, so that's a nice little
Yeah.
tangent too. But that is my experience. Is that I don't remember. So, and newbie vegans tend to be the most excited. They're the ones
Hmm.
screaming at people
Oh
because
yeah.
I
That was me
learned
for sure.
this. It's like I learned this. You all need to know. Okay, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch, like on my
Yeah.
side. I was like, you're like new to this, right? Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
vegan like a
you can
month, and
tell.
I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. You're a newbie vegan. That's fun. You go.
Yeah.
You'll find your place in what you want. Uh, Typically, people go to extremes before they get back to the middle.
Yep.
It's fun to watch, but don't forget. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, we want more people to come onto our team. We've got to treat them well. And if that means meatless
Hmm.
Mondays for them for like 2 months or 6 months or a year, then it's meatless Mondays for that time and
Yeah.
not what's wrong with you. Good example is Dave, since you know Dave, since he was on your show.
Hmm.
Dave lived here for a while with a vegan, not being vegan, but he ate vegan in the house. And I never pressured him. Nothing. Zero. I mean, I'd
Hmm.
cook. I mean, so that would help. I'd feed him food, but he just did it. And then like one January, like New Year's Eve thing, he said, "I'm gonna go vegetarian." Like, and I was like, "Why?" That's the only time where I kind of questioned, like, "Why are you going vegetarian? Like, you're already not eating this stuff in the house. So like, what does that mean? You're gonna stop eating animals outside the house, but eat dairy and eggs?" It lasted a month. And
Yeah.
Dave went vegan like a month later. He was like, yeah, it was kind of like, why did I? Sometimes you need a transition. His transition, that was like the only time where I kind of went, I don't understand. You're still not bringing eggs and dairy into the house as a
Yeah.
vegetarian. So eat a grilled cheese. I don't, so it's been a while now for him, but that was, it's still most people think I pressured him because of my personality. And he gets up, and I really didn't. I'm telling you, he'll tell you the same thing. I did not
Yeah.
pressure him whatsoever because it doesn't work.
Hmm.
But I will feed you, and that will
Yep.
convince you
Yeah.
to eat vegan food because if your impression is that vegan food is gross and vegan gluten-free food because it's not gross. You just have to know how to cook. And then
Hmm.
you're like, here you go, eat this. But he eats everything, so he's not the best judge of that. I've given Dave some really disgusting things, and he's like, this is the best ever. And I was like, yeah, that's disgusting. He's got, he's got this weird palate. It was fun. I really have to tell Dave to watch this. Is awesome. So, but he'll admit to all of it. I should text him and be like, Dave, you need to watch the live. But so let's talk. As I would talk more about did you bring the hummus, who you've had on, and Mondays and stuff you talk about. I'm gonna throw that at you.
Yeah. So on my podcast, it starts off where it's just me. I didn't have guests right away. So my early episodes are just me kind of talking about what I thought I would want to hear when I first went vegan. And then it kind of led into it was coming up on Thanksgiving, so talk about like how to handle your first Thanksgiving. And then I really started putting out there that I was doing this because I decided it was going to be more than just the Toastmasters project. I started reaching out to a business mastermind I'm in, and they had so many great connections. I started to get actual guests. So I've had, local activists who are not really like out in the scene, but are working very locally. And I even had Marissa and Kendra from New Jersey Vegfest. They've been on. They're probably one of the bigger names so far. Dave, of course, and Dave's friend Sushila, she was on as well. And so it's just a mix of like kind of uh, people who are in the movement, people who are, vegan and everyone's been vegan. People who are just kind of, doing it in their personal lives, but want to talk about it and share their story. That's my favorite thing. I love hearing, how did you go vegan? What brought you to that point? And what happened next? And how do you feel about it now? And then, of course, my second favorite question is, what's your favorite way to eat hummus? Because everyone so far is like, I don't know, with a spoon and the tub in my arms, because that's my favorite way to eat hummus too. But but it's just so fun to have these different types of people. And coming up, the podcast that will post whenever I figure out when it's going to post next in July, I think, will actually be, she's a spiritual coach whose focus is veganism. So we're going to kind of marry those
Oh,
two, that kind of spirituality and veganism and how they connect and kind of the story behind that. So that one's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about that.
that's really
Um,
cool.
yeah,
It's really cool.
yeah, it'll
Well,
be good.
yeah, thanks for doing that, and I'm really glad that somehow you found Dave and that brought us together
Me
because
too.
yeah, because it's leading to a lot of places.
We're doing so many cool things, right? This fireside chat, and I love it. And I kind of I do a mix when I choose the topics. It's kind of a mix of stuff I think I need to talk about, and other times it'll be something prompted from something I just saw a couple of hours ago on social media or an article I just read. And so it's a good mix that way. But I mean, I always have thoughts on these things, and I love taking questions. So that's been really fun. But do you want to talk about the new thing?
Yeah, I think we should definitely talk about the new thing because nobody knows about this. Then if you're watching this, you'll then
Exclusive.
know it is an exclusive, and we finally came up with the date that we're going to premiere a new show, and it is called The Vegan Stew. And you can go to theveganstew.com. I'll put that in here. Theveganstew.com for the new show. The website is ready, but we still have to add the other hosts to it. Right now, Marla and I are up on there. And so, what is it? What's the vegan stew? Let me add this here. So, the vegan stew is pretty neat because I wanted to create a talk show with vegan women and talk about topics, any topics, any and every topic. And I want to show, or we want to show actually, we want to show that we can talk about any topic and sometimes get heated and still at the end of that hour respect, care, love one another. And we can show that discourse can happen in positive and negative ways and be civil. And we're probably going to piss off a lot of people because our topics are going to range anywhere, as I said the other night, from honey to James Aspie and everything in between, because there's a lot in between there. But
Yeah.
it's going to be edgy. The reason it's called the vegan stew is, we can mix the pot, we can stir the pot, there's a lot of fun things that we can say about the vegan stew, and our logo's on the website, theveganstew.com. It's Kimberly and me. It's Brittany, Marla, and Laura. We have Chicago, New Jersey, North Carolina, and California covered, right? So I did Chicago, like it's its own state. So Illinois. Thank you, Susan. It's an awesome idea. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I've had dinner with Susan recently. I didn't say a word. It's been happening. No, this has been under wraps for months. And in the background, we've been meeting weekly to try to like get it going and get it started. And where we set the date, it'll be July 14th, I think is the date, at 7
Yeah.
p.m. It'll be Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Coach Kayla will be the first Wednesday of the month, and then we will be the other Wednesdays of the month. And we're like super excited because
Yeah.
we're going to have like current events and stuff going on. Oh, thanks, Diane. I can't wait. Yay. Yeah, it's
Yay.
and Marla's from Vegan Street. So if you don't know Vegan Street, check out Vegan Street, veganstreet.com. Absolutely incredible. And Brittany's local to my community here in North Carolina. And Laura Ball is in Northern California, and she's amazing vegan like her whole life. And of course, you and me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we range for like, and it's like I said, vegan women, like pretty much, well, personality wise, we probably run the gamut of. I know who to trust my secrets now. That's awesome, Susan. I've learned to be that person. I'll tell a little story about that in a second, but it would just vegan women that are pretty strong in personality. All of us, and but probably different levels of feelings on different topics.
Yeah.
So our first show is going to be Why Am I Vegan? And if you're following along with that as well, I've created a website called whyamivegan.com, and that site should be finished this week. And there's a Facebook group, a page. I think I made a page, Why Am I Vegan? Go like the page because you can tell me why you're vegan and you'll be on that site. So when you're out in public and someone annoyingly says, "Why are you vegan? Why are you eating like that?" or whatever, some stupid dick thing that's said to you, because usually it's meant in that way and not like, "Oh, really? You're vegan? Tell me more." That's awesome when
Yeah.
that happens. But when it's that when the person is that ignorant way of asking you, "Do you just eat salad?" I don't get those anymore, but I started with those. Send them to whyamivegan.com. I mean, let's see, Dr. McDougall will be on there. Nelson Campbell is going to be on there. Celeste Rao is going to be on there. So it's going to be some pretty prominent figures in the vegan world, plus all of you. Because I
Hmm.
want it just to be that place where people can go and a myriad of reasons animals, health, the environment, whatever it is, share it. I want to hear it. So this is a great perk. So the vegan stew, Kimberly, the vegan stew,
Yay.
it's now out there.
It is. It's so exciting.
And people are watching and saying yay. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty wild, and we're really looking forward to. Of course, the first show we'll just be kind of feeling our way through it. Like I already said, I don't prepare, so and each of us is going to host different shows based on who brought up the idea for that week. So it's not going to be like one person running the whole thing. We're all going to be in charge on different days and different weeks, and that was important to me that everybody is equally in this. And then topic wise, we'll see how it goes. I want us yelling at each other. I think that would be awesome. But it's not meant to be polite. It's meant to be like,
Yeah.
well, this is what I feel. Think of like The View, but we've veganized it. We don't really
Yeah.
have a conservative person though. But I think about bringing maybe as a guest. We can bring somebody
Yeah.
in
Small
that,
doses.
yeah, small dose. But it's important for everyone to hear because we want everyone to be able to watch and have some
Right.
relation or understanding. And of course, we'll take questions and we're going to stream it probably through StreamYard. So it'll go to YouTube and different platforms on Facebook. But then we probably will do Instagram as well. So there go
Oh,
the
nice.
dogs. So we'll do an Instagram show with all of us too, so we can reach people over there because a lot of people on Instagram aren't on Facebook. So
Right.
we definitely want to reach them. And Vegan Street has like 200 plus thousand people on their Instagram. So
Good
That
stuff.
we could definitely reach a lot of people, which would be awesome. So that's like what we've got going on.
Yeah. Just a few things, right?
Yeah, like everyone kind of says, like, how can you do everything that you do? Producing all the festivals and doing this is at home. So I mean, and I took it on the road. Like I took my iMac, a 27-inch iMac.
Wow.
We took it on the road when we went away, like a few weeks back, because the idea of setting up another computer was, I didn't want to do it to the point where I
Yeah.
traveled with my computer. Everything's on here. I just hit a button and
Dedication.
it does what I need. We
Yeah.
took the lights. I mean, seriously, the only thing I didn't take was the mic. So, yeah. And I don't know if I'll do that again, but right now, and the other thing that people should know is Virtual Vegfest Live is going to 1 day a week after this. So it'll be
All right.
Thursdays. It'll be Thursdays from here forward. I won't be home on a lot of the weekends because we'll be doing the events. So knowing there'll be a lot of travel, it just made more sense to go to 1 day a week. And I'll
Yeah.
4 p.m. still, but as I book people, I think I'm going to move it to 7 because this is a better time. I'd like to have it in my afternoon.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what else should we talk about? Talk about what do you do like outside of this?
What do I do outside of this? Um, I do a lot of reading. I have a full-time job that is completely unrelated to being vegan. Um, so that takes up a good portion of my day, right?
Yep.
And Toastmasters, I have been elected president of my club for the 2021-2022 year. So that starts July 1st. I'm very excited
Congratulations.
about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that also is going to take up quite a bit of my time. Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm excited about it. I love to serve. That's my thing. I want to help people grow and learn and the more public speakers and the more vegans we can get out there. They don't have to both, they don't have to be both. But if you want to learn one of them, I am here for you. Oh, thank you, Susan. So nice.
No, Susan's awesome. Susan's absolutely awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. Yes, you are going to be busy and you do yoga because
Oh, every morning.
that's one of your main things. That really
Yeah.
resonated with me to the point where today I didn't do yoga, but I was on the phone with Susan for an hour on my treadmill.
Nice.
It's normally at night that I do that, and I did it in the morning today because I might go out tonight, and this being later messes with dinner, messes with everything.
Hmm.
So, but that's okay. I like the fact that I started my day, and then when I made my smoothie, it was like net calories, like zero, like I already burned off what I put into my body, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Is my motivation for working out at night is I watch what I eat all day because I haven't worked out at night. And so
Okay.
that like when I work out at night, I'm just kind of like I haven't overdone it. Whereas you work out in the morning, then you're kind of like, oh, I already worked out. Let's just like keep doing this. Oh, there we go. This is what Rick said.
I think
I
you
think you
serve
serve.
a few cats as well. Rick, you are right on with that. We do. We have three cats. They are our children, and they that's like our focus. We're always trying to make sure that they're happy. What can we do to improve their lives? Yeah. So he is 100% correct on that. I am purely there to make sure that they are good.
That's like really cool because there's two cats here and three dogs. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's a busy house. It's a really
Yeah.
busy house. And to go back to like what Susan said about, who to keep your secrets. So a long time ago one of my friends was getting married and was married and he was going to have a surprise birthday party that his wife was throwing for him. And he was my massage therapist. So I was seeing him pretty often. And when you massage with that energy, the sharing with touching, you
Hmm.
share a lot of energy in that. And I would see him, and I knew about this party. I couldn't go, but he talked to me about his wife not doing anything for his birthday, and that she doesn't typically do things like that. She's not really good at that. And we just had like full on conversations for like months about this whole topic. The party happens. He goes to his wife and says, "Where's Helene?" And she says she couldn't make it. And he said, "She knew about this?" She said, "Yeah, of course." And he was like, "Bitch."
Well, you are good.
He had no idea. I play poker. He had no idea. I coached him and talked him through not hating his wife. I think it was his 30th birthday. I just coached. I mean, he was just like, he's not gonna do anything, and he like wanted something like that, and she did it. It was like on a boat, a houseboat, on a lake.
Nice.
It was like a big deal. And I like knew I just couldn't go. I was in San Francisco because it was in California, and I was like, yeah, I knew. So yes, you can trust me with secrets. The only person who'll probably know about it is Steven. And you can
That
fully
makes
trust
sense.
you can fully trust him because he's like he's better at it than I am. Because he's got to keep secrets from me. And it is not hard to do. It is very hard to do that. Like really hard. When it comes to buying gifts for me, it's like near impossible
Oh.
because like he'll be like, "Oh, I'll get that for her," and then it shows up at the house because I bought it. He's like, "Can you stop?" I was like, "Well, I didn't know you're gonna get it." Around like Christmas is my birthday too. Like, just don't buy anything. If you say
Right.
you want something, just don't buy it. Like Christmas, for like last year's Christmas, it was so sweet because I got him socks, and he was like, "This is the best gift ever." And I got socks, and I'm like wearing a pair now. We're like so happy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's simple things, the things that you need. And we never took the Christmas tree
Yeah,
down, so it's just lit up in the living room
that's
all year
fun.
round now. Yeah, it's really cool. And then he's
Yeah.
like, "I was gonna take it down." He said, "No, let's just leave it up." And I was like, "Okay."
Okay. You mentioning the energy exchange during massage reminded me, I also am a Reiki practitioner and I do distance. So I do distance Reiki, I do distance crystal energy healing. So I got the whole other side too, where I can like really get into it that way from that spiritual side and that energy healing side. So that's my like other fun thing I like to do.
That's awesome. Susan, you and Susan need to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's in Asheville. But yeah, that's really cool. One of the things I've delved into that's along those lines is reading tarot cards.
Oh, I read cards too.
I have the most beautiful deck. Like it's gorgeous. Oh, there Susan just said definitely. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
the deck, because you go to the deck when you're going to do tarot cards, you go to the one that you're drawn to. That's the
Hmm.
point of it. You're drawn to it. And I bought this deck in on Long Island in Port Jefferson at this little crystal type store. Oh gosh, I was I was young 20s probably. I still
Okay.
have it.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's like they're
Oh,
hard
I
to
like the big
shuffle.
ones.
They're
Yeah.
really big, and I've read people's cards. And the hardest thing about reading people's tarot cards is telling them the truth,
Can be. Yeah. Yeah.
right? I vowed after I didn't once because I saw an affair,
Mm.
and I didn't say it, right? And I vowed after that I would always share with the truth. And I love when
Yeah.
I come up in the reading because there's a card that represents me in my deck.
Hmm.
And I've come up in the reading, and I think that was one of the times I didn't say anything, but I basically was like, "We're not going to be friends anymore." We weren't.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know, I
boy.
saw people losing. I saw people losing all their money. I saw people getting promotions. I mean, really remarkable
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. It's
It's
amazing. So fun.
yeah, and this were people I don't know anything about as well.
Hmm.
And like the one person I told when I read his cards, he was like completely a skeptic, and the whole thing was like like debt and like like poor and like losing job, the whole thing, like everything was just surrounded. It was like glaring like red lights. And I said that. I was like, this is this. And he was like, there's no way. He had a really good job. He's working in Manhattan. And it's like, we were young. And
Mm-hmm.
like within, and it always happens like within a month time frame. I was like, this is like within a month. If nothing changes and you don't change anything in your world, this is what's going to happen. And he
Yeah.
lost his job in a month.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, everything. And
Yeah.
like we were like 19, I think. We were young. He was like making 50,000 a year. 19
Hmm.
in 1989 for a 19-year-old to be
Not
making
bad.
50,000 a year in 1989 was amazing. That was a lot of
Yeah.
money and he was living at home. Tons of money. That saved him
Wow.
because he was living at home. And
Yeah.
it all went away. And
Hmm.
I was like, "Oh, you hope it's not true."
Right.
Something
Yeah.
like that. I mean, you want positive stuff. I mean, that was like,
Right.
but I saw my brother's promotion.
Oh, that's
You
fun.
know, I was like, yeah, he's definitely gonna get it. And then within that month, he did. I was like, that's cool.
Nice.
Just keep
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, if I want to read someone's cards, I have to sleep with them, and they're like in a drawer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I put them in my pillowcase. It's like weird, I know. Like some people will probably watch this going, "You guys are
Like,
like
where did this
woohoo!" I
conversation go?
know.
Yeah.
It can go anywhere, and most people watching know that. Well, Kimberly, this is like incredible because it gives me the opportunity to get to know you better. Granted, with everyone watching, getting to know you better, but fireside chats with Kimberly, chats. I guess I should plural. I don't know. Fireside chat with Kimberly, and like when you get the green screen, we'll have to create a graphic that is a
Yeah.
fireside chat so that it is year round without it being
Yeah.
100 degrees in your house,
Right.
and yeah, make it much easier. And maybe your cats can come and be part of things every so often
Yeah.
because they're not
Why
allowed in
not?
here anymore when I go live because they're destructive. But it's fun. Everyone loves seeing the animals come on live.
Yeah.
They love it. But the dogs would bark and Morgan would walk all over everything. So the other one's not coming in here. But yeah, so Fireside Chat with Kimberly on Monday at 7 p.m. and Wednesday starting July 14th at 7 p.m. The Vegan Stew. So theveganstew.com. And how do people get in touch with you to like listen to your podcast and everything else?
Yeah, so they can listen to the podcast on pretty much every podcast platform out there. And you just search "Did you bring the hummus?" and it'll pull it up. You can even listen to it on a website. You can go to my website, which is didyoubringthehummus.com. And the first page is the podcast itself. And then there's some more information about the services I offer and things on the rest of the website. You want to follow me on Facebook or Instagram. They are both at Did You Bring the Hummus?
Yes. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
get this as I type while you're talking. Did you? Oops, if I could spell, that'd be great. Did you bring? I'm not capitalizing. Sorry, everyone. And then Twitter is bring the hummus.
Right. Yeah, I don't think there's much posted on Twitter, so I'm much more active on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, and I've tagged you on Twitter,
Oh
so
yeah.
there's definitely tags on there. I did it
Awesome.
today. Yes,
Thank
most
you.
definitely. You're welcome. So that's great. And then on your website, they can find more about the community group and
Yep.
the newbie vegans or any vegan basically wants to veganize recipes. I mean,
Yeah.
you can
I'm
not
your girl.
be you are that woman.
Bring it on. Yeah.
I woman hear me roar.
Yeah.
Well, this was so much fun for me. Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you,
thank
thank you,
you.
thank you. And I look forward to what other projects we will come up with and do, and
Yeah.
any help that I can offer you with everything that you're doing. Let me know, tag Virtual Veg Fest in those so we can share them and get it out to as many people as possible so we can help you grow
Thank
and
you.
and get
Yeah,
you
I would love
possibly
that.
get you away from that job and to one that, is aligned with your
Yeah,
values and ethics.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
good
that'd be
stuff.
cool.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Helene. I'm really happy to have been here with you tonight.
I appreciate it. Well,
Okay.
have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye, hun.
Bye.
Well, thank you once again for watching Virtual Veg Fest Live, and I think I know who's next week. Like next Thursday is, let me see. I had to pull up my calendar. It is, I just want to get the name right. That's my problem, is I want to make sure I get, it is Anthony Masiello. And I'm excited about that because he's got a lot of stuff going on, and that'll be my first no weekend. Well, there's no talk this weekend. For some reason, I kept this weekend open thinking that I might do an event. And I'm not doing an event, I'm going to an event. I'm going to the Triad Vegfest in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I'm going to meet some new vendors, one of which is a food truck that's coming to at least 3 of our festivals. I can't wait. The food truck had been on Shark Tank. So, like, it makes me like really happy, and Greensboro is not that far. Plus, I get to see some of the vendors I haven't seen in over a year, and that makes me excited too. And get some good food, and of course in Greensboro, I'm pretty sure we have to go to Winston-Salem and go to Dom's because why we're so close. Vegan Italian restaurant in Winston-Salem, yeah, would totally do that. So a reminder to everybody, enter our contest, subscribe to our social media, like and hit the little bell on our Virtual VegFest YouTube channel, and be kind to one another, and live your dreams. And don't let them just be something that you dream about. Make them happen. And I know right now for Kimberly and for me and for Susan, we're putting things in place. Our ideas are coming to life, and that's powerful. It's incredibly powerful, and you can do that too. And don't be afraid, because paths are meant to be walked on, not to be thought about all the time. If something like that I just posted on my Facebook recently, but paths are meant to be walked, not choose which one to go on. It's brilliant. Ooh, thanks, Susan. So true. So have a great rest of your week. And oh, surprise live. Not so much a surprise if I tell you about it now, but a surprise live with a special guest tomorrow night in the evening at some point after our bellies are full because I'm making homemade pizza. Surprise guest. You want to tune in? I'll just kind of pop on. Person will be here with me right here next to me in person. And I'm so excited. It's worth tuning in. It's definitely worth tuning in for. Now I've got to pique your interest. If you've watched to this point, I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great night, everyone, and bye.